All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, as you can see on the screen here guys, it is time to get into some Riftbound action. That's right. And I know it's been a while since I've updated this channel. Y'all bear with me. But hey guys, I'm trying to work on that. And I actually have a 6-part series ready for this channel. Okay. Why a 6-part series, you might be asking? Well, because guys, they have finally released all the cards for the very first Riftbound set, which will be called Origins, and we're going to be breaking that down over the next 6 videos here on the channel as we go over every single card in the new set. We're going to be breaking this into a 6-part series because there are 6 different colors in the game of Riftbound. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop right into this, guys. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. All right, guys, let's get into it. Now, we're going to be going over every single card in red in the Fury color in this game. And I'm going to try to move through this pretty quickly because I think we have about 40 cards to go over today. So we're going to try to move through this pretty quickly. And please bear with me. I'm still new to the game. I'm still learning things. So if I mess anything up, please help me out, or please help me out down in the comment section below. Now, let's do this, guys. First thing, we're just going to go right in order here, guys. First up, we have Blazing Scorcher. This is a 5-cost, 5 might Noxus Dragon unit with the effect, or maybe it's called the ability in this game, I'm not exactly sure, the ability to accelerate, which has, you may pay 1 and a power rune, or excuse me, a Fury power rune as an additional cost to have me enter ready. Okay, so real quick guys, whenever you see like a cost like this, notice it has a 1. That means you have to pay that, if I'm understanding this correctly. But whenever you see a rune, like an actual, notice this little red symbol here, it's the same as this symbol right here. That is a Fury rune. That means you have to actually recycle this card. Okay, you have to return a rune from your cost area back to your rune deck. Okay? Excuse me, guys. Y'all bear with me with my throat here. My allergies are acting up. So, in the case of this Blazing Scorcher, you're going to be able to you're going to be able to pay 6 and return a Fury rune to be able to attack in right on the turn it comes into play, which is really, really solid. Because if you pay that amount, the key word accelerate in this game means if you pay whatever the cost is, that character or that unit is going to enter into play ready to attack, right? It'll be able to attack right away. So solid card here. I don't know. I think, you know, this first set, we're going to have to see how things go. I don't know what we should expect for what's going to be good for the cost to might ratio. We have to see what's going to be good. But I would imagine a 5-cost, 5 might ratio is probably pretty solid. And then, like I said, if you just pay the additional cost and recycle a Fury rune, you're going to be able to attack in right away with a card like this. It seems like it's going to have quite a bit of potential, right? Like it could be very solid. Okay, good stuff here. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have Brazen Buccaneer. Now, this is a 6-cost, 5 might unit. And notice again, guys, we're trying to let's try to figure out what the cost to might ratio needs to be in order for a unit to be considered very solid, very strong. Because this one costs 6 and only gets 5 might. So it's already behind the Blazing Scorcher we just looked at, right? And this has the Brazen Buccaneer has, as you play me, you may discard a card as an additional cost, and if you do, reduce my cost by 2. Okay, so that's making more sense now. Check this out, guys. With this card, we're going to be able to play this out for 4, right, if we trash a card or if we discard a card while we're playing it. And now we get a 4-cost, 5 might character. That makes a lot more sense now, because I was going to say, wait a minute, what's going on here? We're seeing this Blazing Scorcher be a 5-cost, 5 might character, even if you don't give it Rush. But now, in the case of the Brazen Buccaneer here, this is a 6-cost, 5 might unit. However, it could be a 4-cost, 5 might unit if you're willing to discard a card when you're playing it. Really cool stuff here. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we have Chemtech Enforcer. This is a 2-cost, 2 might unit with Assault 2. Okay, so this unit will get +2 might while attacking. And then when you play me, discard 1. Okay? So this card does have a little bit of a setback if you're going to try to play this card out, which I guess makes sense because this, even though this says it's a 2-cost 2-might character, it's actually a 2-cost 4-might character when it's attacking. And that seems very cost efficient compared to what else we've seen. So it ends up being a 2-cost 4-might attacker, but you do have to discard a card when you play Chemtech Enforcer. Okay, makes sense. There seems to be some balance there. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Cleave, and this is a 1-cost spell with action, which means you can play it on your turn or in showdowns, and it has give a unit Assault 3 this turn. So +3 might while it's an attacker. Wow, guys, this seems really, really solid here. I mean, imagine, we haven't even seen all the cards in Fury yet, but, I mean, imagine this card just with Chemtech Enforcer for just a way to cash in on these tiny units, you know, a 2-cost 2-might unit that can attack for 4. I mean, remember, guys, this can be played during a showdown. So, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to be able to attack in with a Chemtech Enforcer for 4, okay, just at its base attack, you're coming in for 4 if you're the attacker. And then you're going to be able to pay 1 and then buff him by another 3 might. Seems good, guys. You could probably get some pretty nice trades off of that, because in that example there, you're essentially paying 3 resources just to be able to deal 7 mites worth in a single attack. Now, on defense, that's another story, right? That's a whole nother story on defense. But on attack, this seems like it can be really powerful, and it looks like from everything I've seen so far, seeing a character with Accelerate, seeing these assault, combat tricks going on, it looks like red or Fury is going to be the color of offense, okay? Seems good. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we have Disintegrate, okay? This has action speed as well. It's a 4-cost spell with action speed, and deal 3 to a unit at a battlefield, and if this kills it, draw 1. Okay, so this can only be played, this can only deal damage at a battlefield. It can't hit anything at the base, which is unfortunate. You'd expect a spell that costs 4 probably to have some decent range, or maybe like a really large amount of damage that it deals, but this only deals 3 to a unit at a battlefield. But if it does kill the unit, you get to draw a card. So pretty decent upside there if you can hit something, and take it down. Okay, and I'm not sure how many ways, just yet, guys, how many ways there are to buff a spell like this. Or if there will be buffs in the game to, deal more than what it says on the card. Because if you can, again, I hate to keep using the same word over and over again, but if you can buff this spell up and hit something bigger, then it could be really strong. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Flame Chompers, okay? This is a 3-cost, 3-might Zaun unit with, when you discard me, you may pay 1 Fury rune to play me, okay? So you can recycle a Fury rune to play this card instead. Okay, hang on here, guys. I'm seeing a little combo going on here. So when you discard me, you may pay a Fury rune to play me. So imagine if we play out these Chemtech Enforcers here. Okay, remember these Chemtech Enforcers we were just looking at? Okay, I guess I'll just... When you play me, discard 1. Okay, I guess I'll just discard these Flame Chompers. And then I will recycle a Fury rune to just play this card as well. Seems good, guys. It looks like there could be a nice little combo there. That's pretty interesting, getting, a little bit of board flood going on. Seems really solid. All right, let's keep going. Okay, very nice. Check out the Fury rune. Looks really good. And especially this, alt art for it. Looks just incredible. Looks awesome. Okay, next up we have Get Excited. Now, this is a 2-cost spell with action speed. Now, real quick before we get into the ability here, or what it does, notice this has this power rune here. It has this Fury rune. So whenever you go to play this out, you're going to have to pay 2 and return one of your red Fury runes. You're going to have to recycle it back to your rune deck. Okay, we haven't seen that yet in the cost of a card from what we've gone over already. So let's see how powerful this is, since it does require us to recycle something. I'm assuming it's probably a pretty powerful effect. It has discard 1 and then deal its energy cost as damage to a unit at a battlefield. Ignore its power cost, okay? So interesting. So deal its energy cost. So I've been calling it just cost this entire time, but I guess that's the energy cost of a card. So with Get Excited here, you're going to pay 2, recycle a Fury Rune, and then you're going to discard a card from your hand, but you're going to deal the energy cost of the card you discarded from your hand to a unit at a battlefield. Okay, seems pretty good, guys. I bet that's going to be pretty strong. But you are discarding a card. Okay, so maybe in the case, maybe you're going to be able to combo this Get Excited card with these Flame Chompers here, and that should deal 3 damage. Not bad. For paying 2, you're dealing 3 damage and getting this card onto the board. But if you try the combo I said right there, you're going to be returning 2 Fury Runes back to your hand. So you're going to have to find a way to compensate for that, or find a way to get around that, or maybe play a deck that just goes really low to the ground. Okay, very cool. Let's go ahead and keep moving here over to Hextech Ray. All right, that looks awesome. This is a 1-cost spell with action speed, and you do have to recycle a Fury Rune to use this, and it has deal 3 to a unit at a battlefield. Okay, I'm seeing a very common theme here, guys. We saw a lot of offense with the first few cards we looked at, you know, just really aggressive units, but now we're seeing some spells that are going to help you win your battles at the battlefield. So this Hextech Ray seems pretty cool here. You're just paying 1, but you are recycling a rune in order to do this effect to deal 3 damage to a unit at a battlefield. Okay, very nice. Let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Legion Rearguard. This is a 2-cost, 2-might Noxus Trifarian unit with Accelerate. Okay, so this one you're going to have to pay 1 and then recycle a Fury Rune as an additional cost to have it enter play ready. Okay, I wonder if that's just the standard cost to accelerate in this game, or if there will be different costs as we move through all these cards, all these different, you know, all these different cards. I wonder if that's the standard cost, though, is just paying 1 and then recycling a rune of whatever color the card's in. We'll have to see, guys. We'll have to pay attention to any kind of patterns we can pick up on. But this is a 2-cost, 2-might character, so the cost to might ratio seems pretty good, and you can give this card Accelerate potentially. Not too bad. It looks like this is just like the miniature version of what we already saw up here with the Blazing Scorcher. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we have Magma Worm. This is an 8-cost, 8-might unit here, a Freljord unit with other friendly units enter ready. Wow, okay. Okay, that seems pretty good. I'm not going to lie, guys. If you can have this card just on the, you know, just on the field, right, in your base or wherever. I'm assuming this effect, someone correct me in the comment section, you know, someone please correct me down in the comment section below. But this just says that other friendly units enter ready. So does that mean only where this unit is at, or anywhere? Like if this card's at the base, let's say if this card's in your base, does that mean like wherever you put a unit into play, it will enter ready? Like whether it's in your base or at a battlefield or wherever? Well, I'll have to get some confirmation on that, but whatever the case is, this card seems very, very strong. The art looks incredible. But it is an 8-cost, 8-might unit that has to recycle a rune for that effect. So it has the 8-cost to 8-might ratio there. However, they're going to make us return a rune so that we can have this really powerful effect on the field. Seems good, guys. This card seems really, really strong. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Noxus Hopefuls. This is a 4-cost, 4-might unit, a Noxus Trifarian unit, or Trifarian, however you say that. And it has Legion. I cost 2 less. Get the effect if you've played another card this turn. Okay, we'll have to see how the wording goes in this game. It says, get the effect if you've played another card this turn. Now, you know, in some games, the wording, I mean, in all games, the wording really matters. But I wonder if in Riftbound, playing a card. So does that mean if I play a spell, or does that count as some other type of effect? And I say that, for example, like in the game of One Piece, if I can play a character, but I can't play an event, I have to activate an event. So I wonder if there's some type of wording going on there with Legion, where it says, get this effect if you've played another card this turn. Does playing out a spell in Riftbound, does that also count as playing a card this turn, or is it known as some other type of effect? So if someone can confirm down in the comment section below, that'd be really nice. But guys, Legion here, if you can play out a card and get the cost reduced by 2, that seems massive. This is a 4-cost, 4-might character, so like the cost to might ratio seems really, really solid. But if you can drop it down, by 2 and make this a 2-cost 4 might character. I mean, again, I'm starting to see a nice theme here. Imagine on a 4-resource turn, like you have 4 resources, okay? I guess I should call them runes, right? If you have 4 runes available, guys, you're going to be able to do this combo right here where you play out a Chemtech Enforcer for 2, and now you've played out a card for the turn, and now you can just slam down this Noxus Hopeful right next to it, if I'm understanding this correctly. Seems good. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we have Pouty Poro. This is a 2-cost 2-might Poro unit with Deflect. Okay, we got another keyword here. Opponents must pay... I think that's just any color power rune, okay, to choose me with a spell or ability. Okay, so opponents must pay, they must recycle one of their runes of any color they choose to choose me with a spell or ability. Okay, very cool. So it basically has some built-in evasion or protection. Seems good. If your opponent wants to target this, right, opponents must pay this to choose me with a spell or ability. Okay, so in order to target this Poro with one of the abilities, with one of your opponent's abilities, they have to return, and they're going to have to recycle one of their runes. Seems good. Seems like a really solid effect here. I like that deflect keyword. I'm a big fan of that because that's going to slow your opponent down big time if they want to start taking out your your units if you have enough of them with deflect. Really nice. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have, this looks like a massive spell right here, guys. We got Sky Splitter. This is an 8-cost spell. It has action speed, so you can play it on your turn or in showdowns. You do have to recycle a rune when you play it. Okay, or when you use it, I should say. This spell's energy cost is reduced by the highest might among units you control. Okay, hang on. This spell's energy cost is reduced by the highest might among units you control, and it will deal 5 to a unit at a battlefield. Wow. So this card deals 5 to a unit at a battlefield, and you could probably reduce the cost. Guys, I'm trying to think real quick. Hang on. I mean, we were talking about all kinds of crazy combos earlier on. We've talked about a bunch of combos already. But if you attack in with that 7-cost, or excuse me, if you attack in with that earlier combo we said, where it's like, okay, we're going to swing in for 4 with the Chemtech Enforcers. We're going to buff it by 3 with the with Cleave. So can you make this spell here only cost 1? Because it says this spell's energy cost is reduced by the highest might among units you control. So, I mean, theoretically, you can have this thing cost 0. You just have to return. You have to recycle a Fury rune to use it if you have an 8 might or bigger on, an 8 might or bigger unit on the board. I don't know. Someone help me out in the comment section if I'm off on that. But dealing 5 to a unit at a battlefield seems pretty good, guys. Especially if you can reduce the cost down a lot with some of these more powerful units. Seems really good. Here I was thinking, guys, when I first saw, like, man, this thing costs 8. This thing better be a board wipe or something crazy. It's actually just like a fake cost, guys. This thing's probably going to cost something like 3 or 4 on average. Seems good to deal 5 to a unit at a battlefield, especially when we've already seen a card like Disintegrate that costs 4 to deal 3. Now, this one does have the potential upside to draw a card if it kills a unit at the battlefield. However, with the card we just saw, that Sky Splitter, this thing could potentially be almost free, right? I mean, depending on what you have on the board. Seems good. All right, let's keep going. All right, guys. Next up, we have Captain Farron. This is a 4-cost 5-might unit with, and you do have to recycle 1 Fury rune there, guys. And it is a Noxus Trifarian unit, Captain Farron. Other friendly units here have Assault. Okay, wow. So this card actually seems very strong at first glance. And one thing I just noticed, I just picked up on this. It says other friendly units here have Assault. Okay, so that makes me think that the Magma Worm we were looking at earlier, notice it doesn't say other friendly units here enter ready. So I'm thinking that this effect applies to every one of your friendly units anywhere on the board. Because this Captain Farron unit here says other friendly units here, wherever the Captain Farron is, whatever, zone they're in, they have Assault. Okay, very interesting. So that does make me think that this Magma Worm was as good as I thought it was. That's good to know. But this Captain Farron card seems very, very strong. I'm not going to lie. Guys, this card, it's a 4-cost 5-might unit just right away. And remember, most of the ratios we've seen up to this point have been 1-to-1, where it's like if it's a 4-cost unit, then it's a 4-might unit. This is a 4-cost 5-might unit, and it also buffs your other friendly units where he's at by +1 might. That seems really strong. If you're going to try to build a deck around a card like this, you'll probably want to go pretty wide on the board, obviously. But still, this seems very, very powerful. You do have to recycle you will have to recycle a Fury Rune to play this card out, but I think it will pay for itself pretty quickly. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Dangerous Duo. Okay, this is a 3-cost 3-might unit with it is a Bandle City mech unit with Legion. When you play me, give a unit +2 might this turn. Okay, get this effect if you've played another card this turn. Very nice. So this card has Legion, and that's interesting. So Legion's going to be able to do multiple things. It's just going to be, it looks like it's just going to be triggered in the same way, where you can get the effect if you've played another card this turn. So notice this Legion effect here gives +2 might to a unit this turn, whereas the one we saw up here actually had cost reduction built in. Okay, very cool. Very interesting. But overall, this card seems pretty good. Let me see something real quick. When you play me, give a unit +2 might this turn. It says give a unit +2 might, so I would think you could give it to any unit that you control. Actually, maybe you can give it to any unit, period. It just says when you play me, give a unit +2 might this turn. Could be very solid, guys. So you end up having a 3-cost 3-might unit that can buff something by +2 for the turn, and maybe they get to attack in afterwards and get some extra value in that way. Not bad. All right, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Iron Ballista. This is a gear. Okay, now this is one of, I think this is the first gear card we've gone over so far. This is a 3-cost gear, Iron Ballista. This enters exhausted. Okay, so I wonder if gear usually does not enter exhausted. Okay, someone help me out in the comment section below if that's true. If gear, I would assume that gear doesn't enter exhausted typically, because it says that this enters exhausted. Okay, and it says you can tap this card. It's got the little tap symbol, and deal two to a unit out of battlefield. Wow. Okay, so this is almost. I love this idea of artillery. Okay. I wonder if that will be a type of deck in the future where you just have a bunch of gear on your board. I don't know how much gear you can have on the field at one time, but if you can have a lot of different gear on the board at one time and you just start, you know, raining down damage on the battlefields to take them over, that seems really, really cool, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big fan of this card. I might have to experiment with this idea later on down the road. This is a pretty exciting card, I'm not going to lie. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Noxus Saboteur. This is a 3-cost, 3-might Noxus Trifarian unit. Noxus Saboteur. Your opponent's hidden cards can't be revealed here. Okay, wow. So for those who are not aware, for the newer listeners, newer players out there, I don't know a whole lot about hidden cards just yet either, but from what I understand, I think to play a card hidden, you have to recycle one of your resources, one of your rune cards to have a card enter hidden into a battlefield. That you have to have units at that battlefield, from what I understand. And but notice this. This says your opponent's hidden cards can't be revealed there. Okay, so once your opponent has recycled one of their runes to have a hidden card at a battlefield to do combat tricks with later in the game, if you attack in with this Noxus Saboteur, your opponent can't activate those cards now, right? They can't use those cards. Seems really good. I like to see mechanics like this in the game. All right, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Raging Soul. This is a 4-cost, 4-might Shadow Isles Spirit unit with, if you've discarded a card this turn, I have Assault and Ganking. Wow, okay. So it has +1 might while I'm an attacker, and I can move from battlefields to battlefield. Okay, ganking is where you can move from battlefields to battlefields. Okay, typically you can't do that. Typically you cannot move from battlefield to battlefield. Okay, now it says if you've discarded a card this turn, I have Assault and Ganking. Okay, so at first I was thinking, how are you going to use that right away? But it's probably not meant to be used in that way. You're probably meant to have this card, you know, play it out. Okay, and then next turn when you can, you know, right before, actually, hang on. Let me think about this for a second. I think what you're probably going to want to do with this card is you're going to want to play it at a battlefield, right? So that way you're reinforcing the battlefield that you have control of. I mean, you just played a 4-cost, or excuse me, a 4-might unit at the battlefield that you already had possession of, right? So then next turn, when everything gets readied, you know, when all your units become, you know, active again, you're going to be able to discard a card. You know, if you're running, you know, any kind of mechanics that can do that. And once you discard a card, what's this? Oh, I have assault and ganking now. So now I can move from the battlefield I'm at over to the other battlefield. So that seems really cool. That seems like it could cause a lot of damage. This card seems pretty good, actually. I'm not going to lie. I have not experimented with Fury at all with Riftbound. I've only had very limited playtesting. And I haven't experimented with anything red or Fury based, you know. So I'll have to mess around with this at some point, but it seems like it could be pretty strong, actually. All right, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Scrapyard Champion. This is a 5-cost, 5-might Bandle City mech unit with Legion, okay? And the Legion for this card is when you play me, discard 2, then draw 2. And you can get the effect if you've played another card this turn. Wow, okay, so first of all, if you can turn on that Legion effect to discard 2 and draw 2, it is in that order, and the order is relevant, right? You don't draw 2 and then trash 2. No, you have to discard 2 and then you draw 2. So one thing I will say, though, is discarding 2, and you know, in this, and from what we've seen for Fury, discarding 2 is not really a bad thing, right? It's really not all that bad, because that could turn on a bunch of different effects for the deck, or for whatever, you know, whatever deck you put together. And then you're drawing 2, so you're cycling cards out, you're fixing your hand. This seems really, really solid here. Okay, let's keep going. So next up, we have another gear. This is Sun Disc. It costs 2. You have to recycle 1, and it has tap Legion, okay? You can get the effect if you've played another card this turn, okay? The next unit you play this turn enters ready. Wow. Okay. So the idea here, at least in my mind, would be what you want to do is if you have this Sun Disc in play, maybe play out some really cheap unit at first. So now Legion has been activated, and now you can tap and you know, tap this Sun Disc, and the next unit you play this turn enters ready. So then you can play out your bigger character, your bigger unit afterwards. Really nice stuff here. This is going to let you probably sneak some games against quite a few opponents. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Thermo Beam. Wow, you have to recycle 2 for this spell, guys. It is action. Oh, okay, here we go. So this is it's a 5-cost spell, but notice what it does. Kill all gear, okay? I'm surprised they didn't make that plural, kill all gears. But whatever the case is, I think I get what's going on here. This is just a way to get rid of all the gears on the board. So if you're playing against some type of deck that is very gear heavy, remember what I was just saying earlier, guys. Where is it? I was talking about putting together a deck that has like a bunch of Iron Ballistas and other future gear that are similar to this, and just eating up the game like that. But look at this. They've already beat me to the punch, guys. Like, yeah, we know what y'all are going to be up to. We're just going to shut that down right away. Really cool card here. These kind of cards are very important to keep a game balanced for future. You know, it's kind of like you're future-proofing the game. Really good stuff here. And it seems like it's pretty well costed, guys. I mean, the fact that you have to pay 5 and recycle 2 runes, I think they did a good job with that one. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is Unlicensed Armory. So this is a 2-cost gear that has discard 1 and tap this gear. Choose a friendly unit. The next time it dies this turn, you may pay 1 Fury rune, or recycle, you know, pay by recycling 1 Fury rune to recall it exhausted instead. Oh, okay. Okay, so you're going to be able to protect your board with this a little bit, right? You're going to discard a card. That could potentially turn on your effects, right? So you're going to discard a card and tap this gear, and then your friendly unit, the next time it dies this turn, you're going to be able to pay 1 Fury rune to recall it exhausted instead, sending it to base. This isn't a move. Interesting. It does exhausted, though. Okay, you're going to recall it exhausted instead. Nice. Very, very, very good gear here. This is going to help you protect your board a little bit. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we got Void Seekers here. This is a 3-cost spell with action speed. Deal 4 to a unit at a battlefield and draw 1. Okay, deal 4 to a unit at a battlefield and draw 1. Wow, see, now I already like this one. I have to say, guys, Hang on, let me read this one more time to make sure I'm not misreading this. Deal 4 to a unit at a battlefield, draw 1. Yeah, I already like this card better than the Disintegrate card we saw, because notice this only costs 3 and it deals 4. Yes, I see the fact that you do have to recycle a rune, but this is a 3 cost, deal 4, and it draws a card always. Whereas Disintegrate, it's all the way up here now, this is a 4, this costs 4, okay, and it only deals 3. And you don't draw a card unless it kills a unit, right? So I will say already, I do like this Void Seeker a lot better than Disintegrate. This seems really, really strong. Good stuff here. Let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Blind Fury. Okay, check out Trendemir here, guys. Here we go. So this is a 4-cost spell, and you have to recycle 2 Fury runes, and then it has action speed. Each opponent reveals the top card of their main deck. Choose one and play it, ignoring its cost, then recycle the rest. Hang on. Each opponent reveals the top card of their main deck. Choose one and play it, ignoring its cost, then recycle the rest. Am I reading this card correctly? So you're going to pay 4, you're going to recycle 2 of your Fury runes, and then your opponent is going to reveal the top card of their main deck, and then you're going to choose one and play it, ignoring its cost, then recycle the rest. That seems really strong, guys. Like, you get to, whatever card was on top of their deck, you just get to play it, ignoring its cost. Does it become your card if it's a character or if it's like a unit? Sorry, guys. I'm going to say character a lot because of the game I come from. The main game that I play right now, One Piece, the character's like the name of units in that game. But if there's like a unit on top of their deck and you reveal it, you can just play that and it's under your control? Or am I misunderstanding this? Someone help me out in the comment section below. This seems really powerful if I'm understanding it correctly. Okay, let's keep going. Next up we have Brynhir Thundersong. This is a Freljord unit, 6 cost, 5 might. Okay, so notice this one right away, guys. I haven't read the effect yet, but this costs 6 for only 5 might. So it seems underpowered for the cost. Let's see how powerful the effect is. When you play me, opponents can't play cards this turn. Holy cow. Okay, so that's going any type of deck that's trying to play around combat tricks, or doing something like playing based off counters and things like that. This is just going to shut that down. This card seems really strong. I'm not going to lie. I expect that. I'm not going to lie, guys. I think this would have been playable as a 6 cost like 4 might or a 6 cost 3 might. But being a 6 cost 5 might that just shuts down your opponent's entire chance of interacting with you this turn seems insane to me. Like, very, very powerful. I'm a huge fan of this card. Am I misunderstanding this, guys? Please, if I'm misunderstanding any of these cards, please tell me down in the comment section below. But Thundersong, this unit seems incredible. Really good stuff here. All right, next up we have Darius Trifarian here. This is a 5 cost 5 might unit. It is a champion unit, excuse me. It's Darius Noxus Trifarian, and the effect or the ability is, when you play your second card in a turn, give me +2 might this turn and ready me. So guys, does that even count itself? Like, let's just say you're on like an 8 or 9 resource, 8 or 9 rune turn. If you play out Darius Trifarian for 5 and you do have to recycle a rune, you'll still have however much resources for the turn, but that's the first card you've played of the turn. Does the card count itself? Because then the next card you play out, you're standing this card up and you're getting +2 might and you're ready to go. If that is how this card works, it seems insane. Someone help me out in the comment section below if you know. But this card seems incredible. Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas for this card. There's like 2 things I have to know though, based off where my mind's going right now. I need to know if this card counts itself on the turn you played it, right? Like I said, like imagine you're on like a 10 resource turn or something, you play this out for 5, does that count as the first card you played for the turn? And then the next card you play will stand him as active and give him +2 so you can go in? That's the first thing I need to know. And the second thing I still need to know is when you play a card in this game, does that also count for spells? Or do spells get classified as something else other than playing? Does that count as casting or something like that? I'll have to figure that out over time. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, now this is the same exact card we just saw, but this is an alt art. Looks really good. All right, next up we have Draven Showboat. This is a 5-cost 3 might unit, and you have to recycle a Fury Rune to play. And this is a champion unit, Draven Noxus, Draven Showboat. But it says, my might is increased by your points. Okay, that makes more sense. I was going to say, wait a minute, something's not adding up here. Seeing a 5-might unit that has to recycle a rune and only gets 3 might? Nope. Once you read the effect down there, once you read the ability, it all starts making a lot more sense. And that is actually very cool, and I feel like that's pretty thematic of what I think of Draven from League of Legends. Really cool stuff there. I would have probably been happier with it almost as like a 4-might a 4-cost 2-might unit. Like, drop it down 1 cost and have the might go down 1, you know, as well. And then, like, that way you'd be able to see the unit grow more and more over the course of the game. But I don't know, maybe that's thinking too much into it. I might be, like I said, I might be overthinking it. But whatever the case is, this seems like a really, really cool unit here. And guys, towards the end of the game, when you're at like 6, you know, if you're at like 5 or 6, this is going off your victory points, right? Like your points to win the game. Hopefully I'm understanding that correctly. But if you're around like 5 or 6 points, well, now this is like an 8 or 9 might unit for only 5 cost. That gets really strong really quickly. Okay, let's keep going. Next up we have Falling Star. So this is a 2-cost spell that also makes you recycle 2 runes. And it says, do this twice. Deal 3 to a unit. Wow. Okay, so that's going to deal Deal 3 to a unit. You can do that twice, and you can choose different units. It says you can choose different units for those 2 different 3 damage hits there. So pretty interesting spell here. Now notice this does not have action speed, so I think you can only play this during your, I don't know what it's called quite yet. I think it's just called your main phase probably. But whatever the case is, you're paying 2 to deal 3 twice. And it also doesn't say, it doesn't give a location, okay? It doesn't say add a battlefield. It just says do this twice, deal 3 to a unit. Seems good. Okay, this seems really solid, but it is very costly. You have to pay 2 and then recycle 2 just to use that. But that seems pretty fair. Very strong effect here, very strong spell. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Jinx the Demolitionist. Okay, we got Jinx Demolitionist. And this is a 3-cost 4-might unit. All right, this is a Jinx Zon champion unit, and it has Accelerate and Assault 2. Okay, and when you play me, discard 2. All right, so hang on. Okay, when you play me, discard 2. That hurts. That really hurts. And this unit does have Accelerate, but it's going to be pretty costly. You're basically going to have to pay 4 and recycle 2 just to be able to, swing in for 4 right away. But it'll actually swing in for 6, but you also have to discard 2 cards as well when you play this champion unit. Okay, I mean, after seeing all the discard synergy we've seen so far within, Fury, within Red, this champion unit makes a lot of sense. And imagine, you probably don't always want to accelerate your units. I mean, I guess, yeah, you probably want to do it, but it probably doesn't always make sense to accelerate your units. So maybe just playing out Jinx on curve is still just fine. I don't know, though, because you're discarding 2 cards. Maybe that will make sense more when we get to the legends, okay? But I can't think of it off the top of my head. I can't remember. I feel like I looked at Jinx's leader or their legend, and I think it had to do with having like really low hand size. So maybe in Jinx, if you have the proper legend, that this would be played in of Jinx, then the discard 2 will make more sense. Because I will say this. You're going to want to accelerate after, the more I'm thinking about this, you're playing this card out and you're discarding 2 cards. You're going to want immediate results for that. Because again, guys, you're basically going to, if I'm understanding the accelerate mechanic properly, in this situation here, you're going to pay 4 altogether and recycle 2 to attack in for 6 because you just discarded 2 cards. So, yeah, I think that's how that's going to go. We'll have to see what happens. But that seems like it could be very, very powerful, I will say. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up, all right, this is the same Jinx we just looked at, guys. This is just an alt-art skin. It looks really, really awesome. Let's keep going. Okay, next up, we got a Raging Firebrand. This is a Mount Targon Dragon unit, It costs 6 and it has 4 might. So it costs 6 and has 4 might, and you have to recycle a Fury Rune. And it has, when you play me, the next spell you play this turn costs 5 less. When you play me, the next spell you play this turn costs 5 less. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder what you're trying to... I don't really know what we're trying to combo this with yet. Now, I will say this. Notice what it says right here. When you play me, the next spell you play this turn costs 5 less. So I think that answers my question from earlier about how spells are played. Okay, spells do count as being played. That's interesting. But what spell are you trying to combo this with? See, now I will say this. So if you play out the Raging Firebrand and you start comboing it with like the Disintegrate we saw earlier, that could actually be very strong. Because now all of a sudden this ends up being free and you're developing a 4 might body, but you're dealing 3 to a unit out of battlefield and then potentially drawing a card. And then on top of that, you can combo it with Sky Splitter. And let me see something real quick. This spell's energy cost is reduced by the highest might among units you control. It doesn't specify at a specific, zone. And then it says deal 5 to a unit out of battlefield. Okay, so now all of a sudden that makes a lot more sense. Maybe they're trying to combo this Raging Firebrand with something like that Sky Splitter, and you could just crack whatever's on the board for the most part. Or at least a lot of bigger targets on the board. Not bad. Seems pretty good. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Ravenborn Tome. This is a 3-cost gear that has tap. The next spell you deal... Wait, the next spell you play deals 1 bonus damage. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier as well, being able to buff your spells. Okay, wow. I mean, guys, they're introducing a lot to Riftbound right from day one, guys, right from the start. It looks like they're starting things off the right way. This card seems like it's going to be really good. It is a 3-cost investment. You do have to invest 3 early on with this card. Or I guess you could do it later on, but you want to get as much value from this as you can. And I'm wondering if later on down the road... Oh, hang on. Each instance of damage the spell deals is increased by 1. We were just looking at Falling Star. So if you use that... What was it called again? Ravenborn Tome. If you use that Ravenborn Tome on this spell, you're dealing 4 to a unit twice. That seems really powerful. That can make for a really interesting Spell Slinger deck. I love this. I do love this idea here, and I love the way this card looks with the Tome on there. I don't know, guys. I guess I am, I mention this all the time, but I'm a Paladin at heart, okay? That's what I flock towards in whatever game I play. So I guess I just have a thing for tomes, right? It's just kind of like the Paladin thing. But this looks awesome. This looks really interesting. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we got Shakedown. This is a 2-cost spell with reaction speed. Okay, I think this is the first reaction speed card we've seen so far. And it says play at any time, even before spells and abilities resolve. Okay, so we got a 2-cost reaction speed spell here, Shakedown, that has choose an enemy unit, deal 6 to it unless its controller has you draw 2. Wow, that is a full playset of... guys, you run a full playset of this card, I think. I mean, you're paying 2 and then recycling a card to either A, you're basically killing a unit, right? Because you're not going to choose to deal 6 to a unit you can't take out, right? So you're either A, killing a unit, or B, drawing 2 cards. Yeah, seems good, guys. You're going to want to run a full playset of this card. And I can't remember, is it 3 as a playset in this game? I think 3 might be a playset because I think decks are only 40 cards. I know, in a lot of games there's a 4-card playset, but I think in Riftbound it might be 3. Help me out, guys, in the comment section below. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is Tryndamere. So Tryndamere is a 7-cost, 8-might unit, recycle 2. It is a, this is Tryndamere, Freljord, champion unit, Barbarian Tryndamere. With when I conquer after an attack, if you assigned 5 or more excess damage to a unit, you score 1 point. Okay, so this is kind of like Trample in this game. For the old school Magic the Gathering players out there, you know what I mean. Trample is basically damage that carries over, right? And in the case of Tryndamere, when I conquer after an attack, right? So when they conquer a battlefield, if you assigned, hang on, now they do have to attack. They can't just do it through a defending. You have to attack. When I conquer after an attack, if you assigned 5 or more excess damage to enemy units, you score 1 point. Wow. Okay. That seems really, really good. I like that quite a bit. Okay. Let's keep going. I don't want to get too caught up on these guys. We still got quite a few cards to go over, but this card seems really awesome. All right. Next up, we got Vayne Hunter. This is a 4-cost, 2-might champion unit, Vayne Demacia, with Assault 3. And if an opponent controls a battlefield, I enter ready. Okay, that's the only stipulation it has, is if an opponent controls a battlefield, I enter ready. So this ends up being a 4-cost, you do have to recycle 1 rune, but it's a 4-cost, 5-might attacking unit, okay? And then when I conquer, you may pay 1 to return me to my owner's hand. Wow, okay. Seems really, really powerful. So again, you're basically, I love the design of this card. Very thematic too. You know, Vayne's very good. For those who don't play League of Legends, you might have no idea what I'm about to talk about here. But this is a unit that's known for kind of like, you know, being very evasive, right? You know, just going invisible, rolling out of the way and stuff like that. A very evasive unit. And the fact that it has this mechanic built in where, okay, comes into play fast, right? You pay 4, return a rune, and then you're attacking in for 5 right away. And then if you conquer at that battlefield, you can pay 1 to return this to the owner's hand. So that is so nice, because think about it, guys. This is just a 2 unit on defense, right? It's just a 2-might unit on defense. So it's not going to be very good at holding positions. But taking positions, it's hard to beat that. Paying 4 and attacking for 5 seems really good. All right, let's keep going. This card's awesome. I really like the design of this card. All right, next up we have Vi Destructive. This is a champion unit with 2 cost and 3 might, with ganking and recycle 1 from your trash and give me +1 might this turn. Wow, so remember guys, this is in Fury, this is in red, so there's probably going to be a lot of ways to fill up your trash. And for those who are not aware what recycle means to put a card to the bottom of its respective deck, right? So in other words, if you're recycling a rune, it goes to the bottom of the rune deck. If you're recycling a card from your trash, in this case, it should go on the bottom of your main deck, if I understand that correctly. And it says, recycle 1 from your trash, give me +1 this turn. It doesn't say it's a once per turn effect. I'm not sure if that's how it is by default, or can you continuously do this multiple times over the turn? Seems really strong, and this character does, or excuse me, this champion unit here does have ganking, which is really solid, right? Being able to attack from battlefield to battlefield can present some really good, you know, opportunities. Okay, good stuff. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Immortal Phoenix. This is a 3-cost, 3-might spirit unit with Assault 2, and when you kill a unit with a spell, you may pay 2 to play me from your trash, or pay 1 and recycle a Fury rune. That seems really good. That seems really solid. You know, it has recursion where you can keep getting it back from the trash, but you are going to have to build your deck around the idea of like burning things down with spells, or else you won't get any real effect from this card. But this could be really strong in the right deck, being able to recur units that have. I mean, this has Assault +2 built into it, and I mean, think about it in any kind of red deck where you have ways to discard cards and get them into your trash for just, you know, no good reason. You know, you're trashing the card just for the effect of a card. It's like, okay, I might be able to cheat this out by doing that and then comboing it with spells later in the game. So really cool stuff here. I do really like the way this card's designed, and I really love the art on it. Okay, let's keep going. All right, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Next up, we have Cadragrin the Infernal. Cadragrin the Infernal. This is a 9-cost, 9-might Demacia Dragon unit. Okay, we got a big boy here, guys. This is a big boy. With when you play me, draw 1 for each of your mighty units. A unit is mighty while it has 5+ might. Does that count as 5 or more might, or more than 5 might? I would imagine the way it's worded, it's like 5 or more. But whatever the case is, when you play me, draw a card for each mighty unit. Seems good. I mean, you're going to be able to refresh your hand, because this card costs a lot, guys. This is 9 cost for 9 might. So, I mean, it pays for itself, but it has the potential to draw quite a few cards. And hang on, when you play me, draw 1 for each of your mighty units. I wonder if this card counts itself. That would be good to know. Okay, good stuff. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Kaisa. This is a 4-cost, 4-might unit here, Kaisa the Void Champion unit with Accelerate, and when I conquer, draw 1. So red, like I said, guys, this is going to be really big into being offensive and just being super aggressive, being super aggro. Accelerate is a major theme within this color. And look at this, when I conquer, draw a card. So it's just trying to stay active and get rewards from attacking in and conquering battlefields. Really big fan of this. This is just a really generically good champion unit here. 4 costs for 4 might. It looks like the cost to might ratio is there. It has Accelerate built in if you need to use that. And then whenever you conquer with this unit, whenever I conquer, draw 1. Really good stuff. Okay. Next up we have, okay, this is the just an alternate art for the Kaisa we just read. This is Kaisa, and I forgot to say, this is Kaisa Survivor. Okay, if I didn't say that already, this is Kaisa Survivor. Okay, next up is Seal of Rage. So this is the this is a gear, and if I'm not mistaken, every single different color has their own seal. Okay, their own seal gear. And for red, for Fury, it's the Seal of Rage. It has tap as a reaction to add 1. Abilities that add resources can't be reacted to, but it has add 1 of these. How do I say this? It's hard to explain, but basically, instead of paying the cost to recycle a rune back to your rune deck, you actually can just tap this to pay for that. Okay, so these gears are really, really nice. These seals in particular, they're really convenient. They help out big time. All right, guys, last but not least, we got Volibear Furious. This is a champion unit for Volibear. It's Freljord, and it has Deflect 2. This is a 10-cost, 9-might unit with Deflect 2. Okay, so remember, we saw Deflect 1 earlier on with the Poro card, and this was just Deflect. So apparently you're gonna have some units that have like Deflect 1, 2, 3, or however many. And in the case of this this Volibear we were just looking at, look at this, guys. This has Deflect 2. Okay, so if your opponent just wants to target your Volibear with some type of ability or spell, they're going to have to return 2 runes to their rune deck just to do that. And then afterwards, they'll be able to do whatever they were trying. But then check this out, guys. When I attack, deal 5 damage split among any number of enemy units here. So when this unit comes in attacking at a battlefield, guys, you're cleaving their entire board, right? Like, or whatever, wherever you're attacking at, whatever battlefield it is, boom, 5 damage cleave is done up front, it looks like, and then you still have the 9 might afterwards. Yeah, this guy is going to be an absolute juggernaut wherever he goes. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the alt art real quick. Incredible. Really, really great art in this game. All right, guys, well, that's it. We went over all the red cards. Looks like next time we'll be going over green with these the Calm rune here. Check that out. We'll be going over green in our next Riftbound video. I have to say for red, let me just wrap up by saying this. This color looks super aggressive, which is not my favorite way to play. I'm typically more of a control player, but I see a lot of interesting synergies with red that I might want to combine with a control deck later on, especially something that's a little more spell damage focused, you know, like we saw with that, where was that tome at, guys? First of all, there's a lot of spells in here that deal damage. That's always nice to see, and I loved the Iron Ballista. This whole idea here of dealing damage to a battlefield with your Ballista, with your gears, love that idea. But then there was, we saw Falling Star, and then this Ravenborn Tome, having access to something like this, and then having access to wherever that Phoenix is, being able to play cards from the trash, getting recurring value while burning down your opponent. Might have to mess around with some of this at some point in the future. All right, well, guys, that's it. Like I said, let me leave off with the Ravenborn Tome in the background here. Appreciate everybody for making it this far. Guys, thank y'all for helping me out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you don't mind, guys. It would help me out big time. And I hope y'all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.